Okay, what's going on, everybody? So, some holy Jew put together this kuntris or booklet called Yefutzu Ma'inosecha Chutza, and basically what it is a collection and a catalog of all Breslov seforim books from the times of Rebbe Nachman until today, from people who have passed away. And obviously, there's a lot more Breslov seforim than just a few, ones from Rabbi Nachman and Rabbi Nachman that we know about. And I want to learn through this, and I'm probably never going to learn through it without making a video about it, because that's just the only way that I'm going to do things. So I might as well be able to teach people about it. So let's learn part 1 today and go through all the different seforim for people who don't know these things. Okay, so let's learn about seforim from Rabbi Nachman, about Rabbi Nachman. So the first sefer is called Chaye Moran, which is basically the life of Rabbi Nachman, where he lived, where he was born, all the stories, different things like that. This was written and collected by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, and it was first printed by the Cherina Rav, Rabbi Nachman Cherin, and there was different printings with more Haisafas, more additional information. It's one of the best books in the whole entire world, and I read aloud and I read it on YouTube as well. Likutei Moran obviously is the main sefer in Breslov. These are the main lessons that Rabbi Nachman told over at different times of the year, and these were most of them were listened to by Rabbi Nachman, and then he copied them and remembered them and then showed them to Rabbi Nachman, and Rabbi Nachman would approve. And this book has over hundreds of lessons of Rabbi Nachman. Some are very, very long and deep and complex, and some are very, very short. But this is the main book of Breslov, that is Likutei Moran. Megillas Seforim. This is a Megillah that Rabbi Nachman wrote, which it says over here in the description, Megillah shetumanim ba soidus v'seder shtalshus bias Mashiach tzidkenu. This book contains some of the deepest secrets and the way that Mashiach is going to come. What's it called? It was told over by Rabbi Nachman in front of Rav Nachman and Rav Naftali, and it was copied down by Rav Nachman. And it was only copied down in Rashi Tevis, meaning just like in kind of like a code. So not many people understand it. And it was passed down to a few more people in the right way with the full words, orally, but written down, it's only in Rashi Tevis, only in a few letters. I've never seen it, but I know that there is printings of it. It's very interesting. Michtave Moran are letters that Rabbi Nachman wrote to his followers. These are printed in the book Alim L'Trufa, which we're going to talk about soon. Seforim are the 13 stories that Rabbi Nachman told over. Rabbi Nachman told over fascinating and beautiful stories that are more like fantasy, like Lord of the Rings style, with kings and queens and and castles and different things like that. And really, they contain some of the deepest Kabbalistic secrets of the Torah. And Rabbi Nachman said that each word of the stories has a certain kavanah in it, and basically you shouldn't even change one word when you tell it over. And this was again written down and printed by Rav Nachman. And the first time he printed it, he actually printed it with on top of it was the Hebrew, and on bottom of it was the Yiddish, so that I think that people who didn't read Hebrew, like women back then, could read it as well. Rabbi Nachman started telling these stories in the year 1806 until he died, and it was printed, and yeah. There's also, at the end of the book, there's this little thing called the Sicha Sha'achar Maisius, little speeches after the stories, which is also contains a few more shorter stories and other deep things that Rabbi Nachman said. Sefer Haganus is the sefer which is Rabbi Nachman put together book full of secrets and different things like that. And he said that this book is even holier than the Sefer Nisraf, which I talked about yesterday on TikTok and also on YouTube as well, which is a burnt book that Rabbi Nachman had to burn to stay alive. And this book was put together in Taf Kuf Samach Vav, also 1806, 1807, but we don't know where it is and nobody's ever seen it. Sefer Amidos, or also known as the Aleph Beis book, was a book that Rabbi Nachman put together when he was a child. Some people say he was 6 or 7. And it's just little small sayings and pieces of advice and segulos in your service of Hashem. And there's other tzaddikim who have written books about it and found all the sources for different things that Rabbi Nachman says. Oh, here's the Sefer Nisraf that I was just talking about, that Rabbi Nachman had to burn to stay alive. Shivchei Haran. Shivchei Haran is also a little bit more about Rabbi Nachman's childhood and things that he did and the praises of him, and it also talks about his journey to Eretz Yisrael. And also, again, this was written and put together by Rav Nachman. And first it was printed at the end of his Purim Maisias, then it was printed separately. And yeah, Sichas Haran is one of the best seforim in English from the Breslov Research Institute. By the way, all these books are pretty much translated into English by the Breslov Research Institute and by other, Breslov printing places and things like that. The Sichas Haran is basically Rabbi Nachman's wisdom, Rabbi Nachman's speeches about many, many different things. And it's one of the most beautiful seforim ever written. If you really want to get a taste of what Rabbi Nachman is about, then that's what the book that you should start with. Shir Naim. It's a song that Rabbi Nachman put together that has wondrous Musar and Husayras. And it's printed at the beginning of every Sefer of Likutei Moharan, pretty much. Toiris Miksav Yad of Rabbeinu. These are some of the lessons that were not printed by Rabbi Nachman in Likutei Moharan. And they were printed at the end of Likutei Moharan in the year Tafresh David by Rav Shmuel Horowitz in Yerushalayim. Not sure what that is. Tikkun Klali is obviously the 10 chapters of Psalms, 10 kapitals of Tehillim that Rabbeinu revealed that is a general rectification for all Averos, and especially for the Tikkun of Pagama Bris, for Averas that have to do with sexual things, and this is pretty much printed everywhere. You can find them in all sizes and all little things, and it's Indian to go to Uman and say it at Rabbi Nachman's kever and all the time, and yeah. Okay. I wonder how long we've been going for over here. Let's start with Rav Nachman. We'll start a little bit of Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman, Yemei Mornat is the autobiography of Rav Nachman of Breslov, of how he became close to Rabbi Nachman and his life with Rabbi Nachman, and also his journey to Eretz Yisrael. Kisvei Mornat, I'm not sure what that is. Rav Alter of Tepliker prepared to print new letters from Rav Nachman from the Tekufa of the Machlekes, when there was a lot of people that were against Rav Nachman of Breslov back in the day, that were never printed. And I guess they were eventually printed in the Sefer Alam L'Trufa, which we're going to talk about soon. Likutei Halachos is Rabbi Nachman told Rav Nachman to write basically on the Sefer, on the Seder of the Hilchos and the Shulchan Aruch, basically to write a deeper understanding of what these halachas are about, and the Kabbalah and the spiritual things. Let's say you have the Hilchos, tzitzis or whatever. So what is the deeper aspects of tzitzis, and obviously Rabbi Nachman bases these off of the ideas of Rabbi Nachman in Likutei Moharan, and he wrote this for 40 years. Now today we only have 8 volumes from many volumes that were lost in a fire, or they just got lost from different times that they were never printed, and they just got lost. And Unfortunately, we lost them forever. Likutei Eitzes are just advice, just pieces of advice that Rabbi Nachman took out from the practical advice that Rabbi Nachman took out from all of Rebbe Nachman's Torahs in Likutei Moharan. Okay, this is where we are going to stop today by Likutei Tfilos, and we will do a different video with more. And we see we have tons of seforim here that I never even heard of. It's going to be a lot of fun to learn all this stuff.